It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
We are live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Carpool Lounge for the sports hit list by the fans and for the fans. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us as we go through what's going on in sports today. We are going to lead off with the NBA because it is Mike.
Fantastic.
So it's time for us to get to the Larry O'Brien Trophy. I got, you know me, I'm always prepared, baby. You already know what it is. So I will address my Boston Celtics throughout this show because I have a lot to get off my chest. I know people have been wondering what are my thoughts about their exit in the playoffs. But today I want to start off with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers was fired from the Clippers after being there for about 7 years. Mike, what are your thoughts on the firing of Doc Rivers? Was it deserved or is this a racial thing? What are your thoughts?
Nah, it was deserved, man. Doc Rivers, I think we talked about this years ago. I think Doc Rivers, by and large, is probably an overrated coach. Like, I think Doc Rivers bought him a lot of cachet for one championship, but that championship is kind of emblematic of Doc Rivers' career, the career underachiever. Everybody knows he's the only coach that blew 3-1 leads. Now, and we say he blew, of course.
Three times.
So, and we know he wasn't the one playing, but a lot of times when you blow leads like that, and we got a coach here that can tell you, a lot of that is adjustments. You were supposed to make certain adjustments. Mike Malone made adjustments. He never made any. And Doc Rivers is one of those things where he sounds good. He speaks eloquently about racial issues, and he sounds like a good leader of men. But that doesn't mean he needs to lead your basketball team. And too often in 7 years, yo, listen, man, I'm going to just keep it real. When Vinny Del Negro got fired, I was like, well, when they made it I think they made it to the second round. I was like, and then Doc Rivers made it to the second round. And I was like, wait, so what was the difference between him and Vinny? So, and you know me, I'm a big proponent of making sure black coaches get more opportunities, but we got other dudes that need a chance. Sam Cassell still hasn't had a chance. Ty Lue won a championship recently. Doc Rivers' championship was 12 years ago. Doc got to sit out for a while. Just sit out. Wait, let some other cats come in, reevaluate your coaching pedigree, and then we bring you back. But right now, Steve Ballmer, realize it's time to go, man.
Let's bring in our own resident coach, aka WOM. Coach, was that firing of WOM of Doc Rivers fair or foul?
I think it was fair. I gotta echo the sentiments of Mike. I think Doc Rivers is a good coach who, when you hit a certain wall, you got to realize, okay, we got these players locked in. Something is not resonating. I know it was only one season, but we don't know the internal conversations that have been made between the players and the management and the ownership of that team. And maybe just his voice wasn't the right voice to lead this team to the next level of championship play. I mean, do I think I would have liked to see a little bit more of maybe another season with this same group? Of course, I would have liked to see it, but I still can't knock management for saying, you know what, this was a different year, a weird kind of year. We're gonna start fresh. We don't even know if this whole team is gonna be together even next year in the way that we saw it this year. We know Kawhi, they're gonna build around Kawhi, but we just saw Kawhi win with pieces up in Toronto. So, they could win with other pieces. It doesn't have to be locked into this group. So, but I would like to see other coaches get a shot. There's a plethora of coaches who have done their due diligence in being assistant coaches for numerous seasons, some double-digit seasons as assistants, and some coaches who have won championships that are deserving of an opportunity to coach a talented group like they have now. And it's like I said, look, Philadelphia, they fired their coach, right? Didn't reach the promised land. Let's say Doc goes there. Maybe they need a Doc type of voice. Everybody has a certain, they say it's a season for everything. We got spring, winter, summer, fall. The season of Doc is over in Clipper Nation, and now it's time to get a new voice and see where they go from there.
Okay, so now moving along to the main event that we have that begins tonight, Game 1 in the bubble. We have the NBA Finals. We have to have the president of the Laker Nation Brooklyn division. He's still the president. He's still the president.
Wow.
So we have Game 1, and before I was prepping for the show, Ray Jarvis sent out a screenshot, and shout out to Ray Jarvis of the Gray Area. He's a contributor here on the Sports Hit List. And he said, if the Miami Heat win, it is not an upset. Now, you guys know I don't like using the word if. Those are his words, not mine.
No. I saw that screenshot. I think he meant if the Miami Heat win, I'm not upset. I think that.
Okay.
Ditto. That's what I think he meant too.
Like Ray, listen. Shouts out to Ray. Like listen. I call him his fave. Ray. He knows. He usually knows what he's talking about. He's spot on with takes. You know, he knows the business. But I'm disagreeing with him on this one. If the Lakers do not win, yes, it is an upset.
Huge.
100%, it's an upset.
Huge, man.
You know, we got Miami is a great team, and they're rising. A good team, that's rising to great levels during this offseason in a peculiar situation that we call the NBA bubble.
Hello.
Right? We understand that. But let's not get it twisted. This season, the Lakers went in with championship or bust ideas. And where are they? At the championship. Miami was not in no championship mode to talk and be good at the season. So take a team that finished fifth. I think Miami finished fifth.
Fifth seed. That's the fifth seed.
Indeed.
In the Eastern Conference. And you take a
That's
team.
for mine call. Y'all lost to a fifth seed. Oh, yeah.
I will address that. Don't worry. I'm going to talk about that. Don't worry.
Okay.
You take a team that finished fifth place in the Eastern Conference, who just played a tough series where it was a lot of single-digit wins and one-possession games to squeak that series out. And you got a conglomerate team that has three, I think, who said it? Frank Vogel talked about the championship caliber they have on that team already. Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, LeBron James. These guys have won, even assistant coaches. They have won multiple championships. You get what I'm saying? So, yes, this is an upset if the Lakers do not leave that Orlando with the crown.
Okay, so Laker president over there.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on this series? I could hear you in my head. Lakers in 3, Lakers in 2. What are you thinking here, sir?
Series is over already. Like, what do you mean? Lakers in 0 zing. Like, it's over. It's been over since the last series. You see what it is. AD and LeBron, put them up there with Kobe, Shaq, Magic, Kareem. Is going there, and this is just the preliminary.
Before you even finish,
this is just title number 1. This is just a preliminary.
Listen, do you realize
Central Park 5 shirts and put the come on.
What?
Listen.
Huh?
When they see us, you took the when they see us shirts and you made Laker Nation. Oh,
yes.
Listen, but let me tell you something though. You do realize the historical context of your shirt, right? Magic and Kareem played together for over about a decade or so. Kobe and Shaq played together for about 6 to 7 years. Yes. This is LeBron and AD's first year. And you're
at
really
least 3 rings.
In that category? You're really going
to
put them
in 3 rings. You heard it here first. LeBron and AD was going to be teammates.
Man,
you heard it here first that we would be in the finals this year and be champions. Now you heard it here first that we are three-peating.
Mike,
at the least.
Mike, overall thoughts
at the
on this?
Least.
Mike, overall thoughts on this series. Shout out to the Miami Heat for winning the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 games. To all the doubters about Jimmy Butler, I was one of them. I'll be the first to admit I didn't believe in Jimmy Butler. He led them to here. Mike, what are your thoughts?
You asked the Jimmy Butler question because you know how I feel about Jimmy Butler. That's why. But listen, congratulations. But Matt, let's be fair now. Let's talk about the Miami Heat as they were a 5th seed. Let's talk about who they faced in the first round. The 4th seed, half my team was hurt. My one all-star this year did not play. They beat us. Then they beat broken Giannis. Giannis has been beat by 3 different teams the past 3 years. Your Celtics beat him with that created the blueprint. Toronto beat him using the same blueprint. Miami beat him with that same blueprint. They also know. I told people last year, I'm not giving nobody extra credit for beating Giannis. Now the series when they beat y'all, they get a little bit of credit. But let's be clear. Jimmy Butler is playing good. He's not playing great. He's not a great – people are doing too much right now. People saying Jimmy Butler's a great leader. We told y'all. No, Jimmy Butler went to a great organization that was able to harness all of that, and then they're winning. Jimmy Butler in 2 of the 3 series didn't even lead the team in scoring. Anybody else that would have the numbers Jimmy Butler has, 19 points a game, 20 points a game in the playoffs, would get cooked. Anybody else. So let's be clear. Miami is winning as a team. They're a cute story. They remind you a little bit of that 04 Pistons But
Sentiments,
let's hope.
exactly.
Funny you brought up 04 Pistons. Was that an upset when the 04 Pistons beat the Lakers?
It was.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
this-
That was a
That
breakdown.
was a
Yeah.
historic upset.
But then you
And
know
that's
what, guys?
and that's my
Let's
thing,
talk-
Carl. Like,
Yeah.
Miami they're a good, cute, like Max said, they're in the bubble, by the way. So and people talked about it. They got a lot of rookies and second-year players. It's a little different when you got to go to Boston Garden versus playing in the same gym for a month and a half. A lot of these, Tyler Hero's 3 years removed from AAU. He was just playing in something like this.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are more comfortable in this type of we just play ball bubble situation. So while it's a nice story, I think that the Lakers should watch them. I believe that.
Okay.
I believe
So let's talk. Right. So for me personally, I read between the lines in this series. I did a little promo about it. You saw Pat Riley, who's a Laker great. He coached the Showtime Lakers. Now he's the president in Miami. LeBron won championships in Miami, and he left Miami to go back home to Cleveland. Pat was a little upset. There's a little bit of, I don't want to say beef, but there's a little bit something there between Pat Riley and
Of
LeBron.
course.
Is this series really that personal, or are we just, as the media, making it more than it is, Coach?
Well, media, congrats again. You guys will find a story out of thin air.
Exactly.
Yes, this was a conversation maybe when LeBron had just left, but let's talk about where each franchise has been since him leaving Miami to go to Cleveland. He's won a championship in Cleveland, returned home, one of the biggest comeback in basketball history in defeating the Golden State Warriors. Pat Riley has never done a tank season. He's always kept rebuilding and rechipping and building pieces. No one started this year or even midway through the year and said, we can see Miami and Pat Riley, his motivation, meet LeBron in the championship round. Now, all of a sudden, it's like Super Bowl week. We got 4 days of no stories, of no games, and the media said, yo, we're going to grab anything. I even saw today that somebody said, and much respect to Danny Green, but they said, let's not forget Danny Green is going on his third ring with a third different team and put him in LeBron picture. Like, the media.
But listen, to be fair to my guy, I have to tell you, there are only 2 other players in NBA history to win 3 championships with 3 different teams. Robert Horry and John Sally. LeBron and Danny Green will become the 3rd and the 4th. I just have to throw that out there. Those are the facts. I have to protect my guy, Danny Green. I'm sorry.
Let me just throw a note in that real quick, Carl. Just real quick with that.
Go ahead.
Because I literally hate that stat, and I hate every time they said it about LeBron. I hate it when they were saying it about Kawhi. That is such a context kind of stat. Nobody else in other eras was going from team to team to team to team to team. So that stat only fits in the context of this era where everybody goes from team to team to team.
But you can't say that because there are 2 players who haven't
done. Actually, there
Robert
was
Horry and John Sally. They didn't play in this era, and they had.
But what I'm saying is, but no, they say
how much John Sally?
There was player movement, but it was mostly through trade.
It's a fact. How are you trying to? It's a fact.
No, I'm not discrediting it. No, I'm not discrediting it, Carl. What I'm saying is it's a context stat, and they're really talking about Kawhi and LeBron leading, not Danny Green being a part of a team. And so in terms of superstars leading a team to championships on multiple teams, that's a context stat because superstars of another era didn't go from team to team to team to team to team. So they would have never got that stat doesn't exist in other eras because nobody was doing that.
Okay.
For superstars. That's all I was saying.
Coach, what were you going to say about that?
No, I was going to say, I mean, we live in an era where that happens, and I'm cool with it. Listen, we need something to talk about.
Sure.
Hold on, I think I lost him.
We're going to see, LeBron is the first. If LeBron gets 30 points, they're going to say he's the first guy to get 30 points in the bubble during the finals.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's talk about the finals MVP and how is that important to LeBron's legacy. I know that's been leading the way in certain aspects about how
Anthony Davis,
he has to win. Does LeBron have to win the finals MVP here? I don't think so. I think his legacy is already cemented. He's played 17 years. We know he's an excellent player. Does he have to win it? But to the LeBron enthusiasts or the LeBronians, they will sit here and argue because he's in competition with MJ, he has to win it. Anthony, what are your thoughts about that?
No, not at all. To me, he already gave that up when he gave the keys to AD before they even got on the court together. He told y'all this is going to run through AD. Why? Because AD is going to bring him through his career just the same way Magic brought Kareem through and so on and so forth. Like, this is how it goes. He's smarter than that. We all know LeBron is smart, and he's very calculated. So, again, this is why AD has been leading the way all year, through the regular season, through the playoffs. I don't think anything is going to change, especially against these little guys in Miami. So through the finals, and I see it being close. I see, especially if LeBron have a game like he had in Game 5 of the last series, if he have a series like that where he just want to, go dumb for the series or whatever, I can't deny it. But for the most part, if we play our offense how we've been all season and just, go through it like as we usually would, AD should be Finals MVP, and Bron is okay with that because, again, his legacy is cemented, and right now he's just collecting chips, and he can still possibly get it. But
Mike, what are your thoughts? Does LeBron, does he need the Finals MVP, or doesn't he already have a legacy?
I think it's based on, and you both kind of touched on it, and the point, and you made it. That only matters on who you ask, because if it is the LeBronians that's chasing MJ, then absolutely, baby, you got to get as many stats as you can. Particularly those LeBronians are typically the ones that point to, well, Stephen Curry has no Finals MVP. But for the point that Ant just made, Stephen Curry understood, first of all, KD's in a lot of ways a better player. So it doesn't matter that KD gets the Finals MVP, but they're both averaging 30. So
exactly.
Speaking objectively, who cares about being like, it's good to be considered the best player for 2 weeks, but in this case, like a 1 week of the finals. But ultimately, if you do what your team needs you to do, as Ant said, if LeBron said from the beginning of the season, this is going to run through AD, then if it runs through AD wins a championship. To me, that doesn't matter. But if you start talking that Jordan conversation, again, now we splitting hairs. Now we got to nitpick. Now we got to start counting and collecting stuff. So if we start doing that, then it's fair game to say, baby, this man got 6. You only got 3 Finals MVPs. That's fair game if you have that argument. But if you don't care about that argument, then you just leave it as the man got another ring.
All right, Coach, do you care about that? Coach, I don't care. Do you care about that argument?
Me personally, I really don't care, because I don't think I think LeBron is LeBron, and he is what he is in history, and that's it for me. Like, I get into the debates because it's fun and it's great to pump your era, but like I said, like I mention, people say this all the time: eras pump eras. So if you grew up in the 90s to 2005, you're going to pump your era. 2005 to 2020, you're going to pump your era. And that's what makes it fun for us to do. But, LeBron, what do you think LeBron wants? Like, that's the question I tell people. He wants the Finals MVP, because that's the type of person he is. He made a statement. If he never would have made this statement, then maybe I don't care at all. He said, I'm chasing the ghost.
He said it.
When you say that, you tell me that everything you do. He didn't even say I'm chasing LeBron, because remember he always says those politically correct statements. I'm LeBron. Yeah. He didn't say I'm chasing LeBron. He said I'm chasing the ghost. Well, the ghost has 6 Finals MVP. You have 3. This one will give you 4, which will get you closer to that ghost you're chasing. So I don't want to see no fans of his say, oh, it doesn't matter, he won the chip. No, it absolutely matters, because this is what he wants, and I'm going to listen to the man at his word. And that's it. You know what I mean? But I respect where he is in history. LeBron is a great player in history. Will this diminish how great he is? No, but it won't elevate him to that next stature that people want to put him at, in my eyes.
All right, guys, the final thing I want to say is I wanted to talk about the Boston Celtics getting eliminated in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the 4 years. And I said this to Mike. Danny Ainge has been on the clock, and everyone wants to take blame. And I know the entire Kyrie situation, how Kyrie took blame last year. I personally didn't blame Kyrie last year. I blamed the entire organization. And I think it's time that Danny Ainge comes to the front of the congregation. And here's why. I've had an issue with Danny Ainge since he became GM of the Boston Celtics, for those who don't know. And it may be me being emotional and still holding on to the fact that he traded Antoine Walker back in 2003. And I'm still annoyed at that trade, and I thought it was a stupid trade. And Kevin McHale saved his career. And a lot of people will sit here and say, well, how did Kevin McHale save his career? Kevin McHale was the GM of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he decided, instead of trading Kevin Garnett to the Lakers, he traded to his buddy Danny Ainge, which gave the Celtics a championship in 2008. What has Danny Ainge done since? Now, Other fans will sit here and say, well, you know what? Your team has been competitive. Your team is good at stocking draft picks. And a part of a rebuild, you're supposed to rebuild within 4 to 5 years. It's been 7 years since Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce have been traded. That's a fact, right? So Danny Ainge sits there and he gets all these draft picks. And I said to myself, let me look at the history of teams that won championships and players that Danny has passed up on that were available that he didn't take. Kawhi Leonard was available in the trade. He didn't take him. They won a championship. You look at Kevin Love, and people may think about his play. I'm just talking facts. Was available in the trade. He ended up winning a championship. Serge Ibaka was available. Marc Gasol was available. All these bigs. DeMarcus Cousins was part of an NBA Finals team. Anthony Davis is now in the NBA Finals. All of these are players that Danny Ainge passed up on. Say it again?
I said that's me, by the way.
Okay. Danny Ainge passed up on all these players, and we sat by and he said, you know what? I'm going to build for the future. 3 out of the last 4 years, the Celtics have been in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals and still can't get to the finals. So at some point, we have to look at it like this. And Mike Miller says it best. We have a lot of ingredients, but he's not enough. Like it's not getting done in the kitchen. So who's in charge of putting those ingredients together? Is it not Danny Ainge? And that's my problem with the Celtics is the fact that we had the Kyrie Irving experiment. It didn't work. And now you've had the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum experience for a couple of years. And for some reason, it's still not working, even with Brad Stevens. So at some point, we can't sit there and point fingers at the players or the coaches. We have to take accountability and point fingers at the general manager of the person putting the team together. Danny Ainge, to me, still hasn't been able to put a championship team together by himself. And he hasn't done that. Again, I'm going to say it one more time for those who can't listen. When you have when you have people that you know in this industry and you have a GM like Kevin McHale, who was your former teammate, to help you out, of course, it's going to bail you out. It's going to work and end up working out in the Celtics' favor, but that's it. So as a Celtics fan, it's very frustrating that every year we're this close, and you see all these great players pass by, and they end up being contenders, being in the finals and winning championships, and we can't seem to get there. I don't understand that. That's all I have to say.
Go ahead, man. Go on,
no, man. It had to be said. It's so much frustration every year, bro. Every single year, bro. For the last 7 years, man. They make the playoffs. Listen, man.
We've been telling you to stop picking them to win a championship every year. Man. We've been telling you that.
No. And I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to sit here and say people are going to say Brad Stevens this and this. Listen, at the end of the day, like I said, again, Danny Ainge is responsible. He's allergic to getting big man, bro. Allergic for the last since Kevin Garnett, we haven't had a legit big man. I
understand your point of drawing a line because if we say Brad Stevens is not living up to his potential, then we would have to point to, well, who put Brad Stevens there? That'd be Danny Ainge. If we say the players are not living up to the potential, well, in addition to them being bad, who we have to point to? Danny Ainge because he drafted them. Now, I will disagree just a little bit because this team had especially in this bubble, this team had the potential to go to the championship. I think a lot of people going into the bubble picked y'all to get out of the East. So they underachieved. I won't necessarily blame Danny Ainge 100% for this year because I believe, I've told you this before, your Wizard coach is good he's a Butler coach. So he's good at coaching people that are average players. Shouts out to Marcus Smart.
He can't coach superstars. Yeah.
No, that's it. We all talk about those couple of layers of great coaching in the NBA. You got to be able to manage egos. You have to be able to maximize the best players possible. But the key thing in the NBA coaching is manage the egos of the superstars.
And he couldn't do that. Right. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that with Kyrie Irving. That was a problem last year with Terry Rozier and you know, Marcus Morris and some of the younger guys. And this year running to that problem. So again, how many more years do I have to sit here and wait for it? And people are going to say, well, I still have Tatum and Brown are young. That's fine. But again, you're planning for you keep building for the future. Meanwhile, all these teams are passing by us and winning championships. Right. You see what I'm saying? And again, here's another player that he couldn't get in free agency that came this close was Kevin Durant. We couldn't even get Kevin Durant, and we had a meeting with him. We had to bring in Tom Brady to try to get Kevin Durant. He still wouldn't come here. No free agents go to Boston. We know that. So again, you have to be held accountable. I don't believe in a 7-year build. I'm not going to take that. I'm sorry. Call me spoiled, call me not. 7 years. No, 7 years. No, the ceiling's high. It's been 7 years. It's going on 8, then 9, then 10. I'm not accepting that
kind of. Listen, as a boss, we talk about the two pillars of the NBA, the Celtics and the Lakers. We see how Ant always talk about his Lakers. So I'm not going to be mad at you for that because it just made sense to me. You're supposed to keep the standard held high. We all should as fans, but particularly the fans who know their team has this rich history. You're supposed to keep the standard up high, and so now the standard's high, man. Good
no,
for
it
you.
is absolutely, and plus, I'm sick and tired of people. And again, I keep hearing about the 08 championship. I love the 08 championship team, but I want another one, man. There's time.
That was 12 years ago, man.
It's time. I want another one.
That's 12
last
years
thing before
ago.
I let you, Mike. Last thing before I let you go. People want to know about what do you think about the rumors that Victor Oladipo wants out of Indiana. What are your thoughts?
I was just talking to my friends about it the other day. There will be no tears from me. I'll be fine. He's hurt, and he's going to cost money. And again, and I saw some rumors that Miles wants to leave too. Cool. He hasn't developed his game at all. So listen, Damo is the only one on this team. Damo Sabonis is the only one that has developed his game. He went from getting traded to being on the bench to becoming an all-star. So I'll build with him, and then I'll do what my Pacers have always done, starting with taking a chance on Reggie Miller when everybody wanted Steve Alford, then Jermaine O'Neal when Trailblazers got rid of him, then Ron Artest when the Bulls didn't want him, then Danny Granger coming out of New Mexico State, and then Paul George and Victor Oladipo. Make all of those people all-stars. Develop all of them. Everybody I just named became an
Miles
all-star.
Turner too. Miles Turner. I heard Miles Turner made one out too. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He's another one. He hasn't developed his game. He's actually regressed. So I'm cool with getting rid of those people. I can trust my franchise. I just told you every era we have developed someone into an all-star. Every single era. So we'll do it again. And we did it with Paul George. Nobody knew who Paul George was coming out of Fresno State. We made him an all-star. Victor Oladipo got traded twice. Came to us, becomes an all-star. Jermaine O'Neal got moved from Portland. Came to us, all-star. Ron Artest moved from the Bulls. Came to us, was an MVP candidate. So we already know that we know how to do this. Vic, he was a fan favorite for me. I liked him a lot. But if he leaves and goes to the Lakers, that's fine with me. We'll draft and develop a player.
Wait, before I let you go, you said Ron Artest was an MVP candidate? What year?
He was the year he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, okay.
And he was an all-star that year, and he averaged 23. He was an MVP candidate.
I may have to go fact check that and correct you on that one.
Go check it.
All right, homie. Mike, I'm going to talk to you soon. We're going to be doing live post-game, so maybe I'll see you down the line, but we'll see. If not, we'll definitely see you next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. You take care. You're watching the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Sorry for the long Celtic rant, but I just had to get that off my chest. It's been bothering me for months, for years. But let me bring in my hockey contributors. Mike, you going to stay around for hockey?
Yeah, right.
Mike, you going to stick around for hockey and join us for hockey? Come on.
Yeah, right. Oh, my man, Mike. What up, brother?
Come on, man. Come on, hockey. Come on, Mike,
No.
Always next year. It's always next year.
Goodbye.
Mike, we love
Hold
you.
on 1 second. Let me see if these guys want to join us for some hockey talk because they're sticking around. I don't know. This is our hockey segment. We're here to talk about some briefly on hockey. We got the NHL draft. The Stanley Cup just finished up. Anthony, are you sticking around for hockey? We're on hockey right now. You gonna join us for hockey?
You on hockey?
Yeah, we're on hockey right now. You gonna stick around?
For sure.
Let's go.
What's
All
good?
right, guys,
we the new hockey guys. What's going on?
So Mike Sparacino, I know I want to give you the floor first. Breaking news on one of your favorite players, Lundqvist. My condolences to you. What are your thoughts of the news?
Well, a little sad, to be honest with you. I mean, he was literally our goalie for the past 15 years. He was the pillar of this team. And to see him go, it's honestly, it's just sad.
Andrew, what are your thoughts?
Henrik Lundqvist is another New York athlete that you can put with the likes of Derek Jeter and Eli Manning as guys that went above and beyond to represent New York City. He, in fact, tweeted, I think, the year the Rangers went to the Cup, I love playing on the road because it makes me realize how special New York City really is. And the man would go out and perform each and every night. I remember one game he took a 110-mile-per-hour slap shot to his bare neck, couldn't breathe, finished the game, played 3 extra games, and then went on the IR. And there was nobody like Henrik Lundqvist. He's one of my favorite athletes, and I wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors.
Chuck, as an Islanders fan, what are your thoughts on Lundqvist?
Carl, can you imagine having arguably one of the greatest goalies of the generation and not winning a Stanley Cup? Can you just think about that for a second? But no. On a serious note, Henrik, much respect to him. He was a stud in net for 15 years, just like Mike said. and he basically emphasized what the Rangers are and what the Rangers stand for. So kudos to him. It sucks they couldn't win one for him, but you know what? All good things come to an end. I do think it was bad for the franchise to buy him out like that. I think it was a bad way to kind of send him off. I think they should have let him finish his contract out with the Rangers and instead treated Georgiev. So that's just my feelings, but kudos to Hank.
All right, gentlemen, so let's break it down. The bubble of the NHL is finally over. Overall thoughts on how that experiment worked out. Mike.
I'm still amazed, to be honest with you, that there was not a single positive test for COVID. Like, to me, that's just mind-blowing. So I think that everything they did, they took all the right precautions. Everyone did what they were supposed to do. And, I mean, not one, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I'm sure Andrew and Chuck, you guys feel the same way too, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, Chuck, I know you wanted to talk about the NHL draft coming up next week. What are your thoughts about heading into that?
Well, my Islanders don't pick until the third round. They got like pick 90 or something, so it hurts a little bit. And it hurts even more when you consider that the Rangers have the number one pick. But I think we're going to see a lot of action at this trade deadline, at this draft, because it's going to be a flat cap next year probably. So teams are going to be stuck, with bad contracts and have to look to move them for picks. And we already saw with the Rangers moving Stoll to the wings for a second. So I think we're going to see an increased amount of trades coming up within the next week. I think the draft's on the 7th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to see a lot of action going on. Teams are already looking to move guys. Patrick Laine is the big fish on the market right now. And then you got free agency like 2 days right after that. So the hockey world's about to see a lot of moves.
All right. Andrew, what are your thoughts real quick about the draft coming up? Well,
it's going to be interesting. Of course, I'm excited the Rangers have the number one pick. Got my eye on Ottawa. While they don't pick first, they have 2 of the top 5 picks. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. And like Charlie said, this is going to be an interesting free agency period.
And also, what's interesting about the free agency period? Is there a top guy that everyone's eyeing after?
Well, Patrick Laine is the Winnipeg Jets, right? Yeah. So Patrick Laine on the Winnipeg Jets, he's definitely like one of their top goal scorers. I'm trying to think. Did he come in the league? He came in with Connor McDavid, right?
No, it was
Matthews.
Matthews, that's it. He came in with Austin Matthews, and he kind of helped establish Winnipeg a little bit, helped them become more of a playoff team. If Winnipeg don't pick him up and re-sign him, wherever he goes, he'll definitely make an impact.
Chuck, Ziggy thought you were a Rangers fan. He didn't know you were the Islanders. I had to throw that out there.
Not watch the Zooms. Ziggy, I had Carl on the Islanders bandwagon for the whole playoffs.
For sure. Absolutely. Talk to him, Chuck. Say it loud.
I don't get it. Listen. The Islanders are a top 6 scoring winger away from being a legit Stanley Cup contender. You can't tell me differently. They're great on the back end. They're solidified in net. Just one top 6 scoring winger, a.k.a. Patrick Laine, away for being a legit Stanley Cup contender.
Islanders are a team to look out for. In the way they forced the Game 6 against Tampa Bay, Islanders' future looks pretty bright.
All right, Mike, any thoughts going into the draft and free agency for your Rangers right now?
Well, I got to say, Carl.
He took the glasses off.
What is he doing? You see it?
There's
always antics.
He got the number one pick, baby. Alexis Lafreniere. We are 6 days away from calling his name first overall in the NHL draft. It's a great time to be a fan. Going from a sad note of Henrik Lundqvist to a beautiful, wonderful note of drafting Alexis Lafreniere with the first overall pick.
So let me put
Rangers are on the rise, man.
So then your Rangers are on the rise. So let me put you on the spot here on the Sports Hit List because I love to call people to the congregation. How many years? How many years are you giving the Rangers to be contenders now? Now that you have this pick, is it a 4-year gap, 5-year? How long is it going to take?
Legitimate thinking, realistically, it's going to be at least 3 to the point where we're legitimate possible favorites. But it's going to be at least 3 years because they still have to address the left side of their defense. They still have to address their center depth in general. The bottom 6 forward group needs to have a boost added to it. So I honestly think that's all going to take at least 3 years.
Well,
3 years.
Good teams can always like go far. Like they can always sneak past the great teams. That's like the beauty of hockey.
So you're saying that the Rangers are going to sneak? Is that what you're saying? They're going to sneak by? They're going to?
I think if they can build the chemistry, they'll be good. Not great, but good. And once you get into the postseason, that's it. Like that's all the motivation in the world you need is like if you click at the right time, you can go far. And that's what hockey's.
The Rangers are not going to take the next step, and I think Mike will agree with me on this until they fire their head coach. I don't think he's going to be the guy to make them take that next leap to championship contention.
I just want to add to what Chuck said. I'm not 100% in agreement with firing Quinn, at least not yet, especially with the hiring.
No, not yet, but down the road.
Oh yeah, no, with the new defensive coach, it might change something, but the fact of the matter is we need an NHL players full team. We can't have half an AHL team. That's my biggest thing.
Guys, final thoughts here as we wrap up because we're going to go on to baseball. Final thoughts you guys have about hockey moving forward, looking into next season?
Watch out for the Islanders, baby. If you really look at their series against Tampa, Carl, Tampa only had a lead for 8 minutes the whole series. The whole series combined, they only led for 8 minutes out of the 6 games. That included 2 overtime games, another overtime game, I think a third overtime game. 8 minutes. The Islanders were that close to playing a pretty evenly matched Stars team, and they could have won the Cup. Islanders just need one piece. I hope hockey starts quickly because I already missed the team, but we're in for a fantastic next couple of weeks. Like I just said, for agency, Taylor Hall, Pietrangelo is on the market. A lot of guys out there. We're going to see a lot of moves, I think.
All right. Mike and Andrew, final thoughts here?
Andrew, go first. I'm being nice, okay?
I'm just hoping this offseason is smooth. It works out. We know we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Hoping the season starts off the way it did in 2013. We get January into June. Hoping fans will be back sooner than later. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Mr. Shades, final thoughts.
True story. That's my actual nickname. Not even joking. But it's going to be a very interesting offseason. Like Charlie said, and Andrew to an extent, a lot of moving pieces. I'm specifically interested in what's going to happen with all the goaltenders. There's a very saturated goalie market. And with the flat cap moving forward, like Chuck said, there's going to be a ton of moves. So this offseason has the potential to be insane.
All right, guys, thank you for the hockey update. I'm sure we'll see you guys on another live or another taped video. Thank you for all your contributions to the Sports Hit List. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
You're watching the Sports Hit List by the fans for the fans live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Let me bring in our baseball expert, Mr. Greg Polius, as I wait for the other contributors to come in, as we are now in the midst of the MLB playoffs. And here is Greg. Greg, how you doing, sir? Can you hear me?
What's going on?
How you doing, man? Baseball playoffs are here, man. You should be more excited. Put the smile on your face. What's up?
Listen, man, my daughter kept me up till 4 a.m. and then woke up at 7:30, so I'm a bit tired.
The life of a parent, man. God bless. The life of a parent. But so far, talk to us a little bit about the baseball. I know you watched our show earlier that we did with the predictions, and some of the contributors didn't like the new format, but you said you're in favor of it. Yeah, why is that?
Absolutely. Well, the contributors previously, Declan, Chuck, and TK were coming at it from a more purist standpoint. But one thing I got to ask them is, if you're such a purist, why deny a whole day of baseball? Like, I've literally been watching baseball from 12 o'clock, and I'm going to be watching like into the wee hours of the night. Like, as a baseball fan, how do you disagree with that? To a more, broader point, baseball has been losing young fans for the longest, and that young demographic. Why not come back and try to gain those fans back with a format like this? And it's to figure out how it works in a 162-game season is difficult, but I say you could still, because Chuck's point was, it takes away from division winners. Nah, best 2 records in each league get a bye, and then you have 3 plays 8, 4 plays 7, 5 plays 6, so on and so forth like that, in the same round robin, in the same wild card format you have now. And on top of that, team owners make more money because now you have playoff games. So win-win for fans and owners.
All right, now we have your protege is what they're calling him. Declan is in the building. He's been filling in. He's been doing a great job. We also have Manny. Manny, can you do me a favor and turn your phone, brother? Because we're seeing you a little lopsided over there, homie. There you go. There you go. You look straight here. So, Manny, what are your thoughts on the new baseball format? I can't hear you, bro. Manny, I can't hear you. Manny, we can't hear you, bro. No, we can't hear you. Declan, I know you disagreed with the new format. You said you didn't like it and you hope it didn't continue next season, right?
I'm fine with it for this year because given the crazy circumstances. But next year, I think it's fine to keep it the way it was in the years prior.
All right. But Greg is
over here. It is exciting.
Say it again.
It is exciting. I will say that.
It is exciting.
You said it wouldn't be exciting on the previous show, and I wanted to come on and tell you that it would be exciting because you never know what's going to happen in a wild card round. I'm watching the Reds and Atlanta right now in the 13th inning, 0-0.
Still going.
The Astros dog, and now they're about to close out the Twins, who seem to be allergic to winning in the playoffs. Right, the Marlins, who are a great feel-good story, haven't been in the postseason in how many years, are up big on the Cubs.
Yeah. Right, well, you know what? Speaking of that, let me just give everybody a score update for those who are not watching. The Astros just defeated the Twins 3-1, so they advance. We also have the Brewers on tonight at 10. The Cardinals versus the Padres at 5:00. The Blue Jays against the Rays right now, bottom of the second, 3-0. The Rays lead that series 1-0. The White Sox lead their series 1-0 against the A's, but they're down 5-0 in the middle of the 5th inning. The Cubs and Marlins right now are at the top of the 8th. The Marlins lead 5-1. That series is just underway. And as you said, the bottom of the 13th with the Reds, we have 1 out, runners in scoring position at first and third. So you guys, overall, the play has been, you'd say, pretty well. And I know, Declan, you predicted that you wanted the Astros to lose, but now they're advancing to the next round. I know people are still salty about what they did, but any thoughts on that
Manny
prediction?
said he's ready to come in.
Oh, okay, I got him. Any thoughts on that, Declan?
It's unfortunate for the game of baseball, but they didn't cheat this year and they won fair and square. I'm not going to get all mad about it because it was a clean sweep regardless. In terms of it was a clean sweep on the field and in myself, Tom, and Charlie's pick from Monday. That was a quick 24 hours.
Yeah, right. So, Manny, what are your thoughts here? The Astros advance, man. They sweep and they advance to the next round. Are you still being salty, or are you going to let it go now?
Absolutely. Manny,
I was just talking to Greg in the chat right now, and I was just saying that umpire, Manny Gonzalez, unfortunately, he has my name. Manny Gonzalez looking like Angel Hernandez 2.0. It's ridiculous, calling a high ball. Then he ejects Eddie Rosario out the game. I would have been pissed off too. Obviously, you need to hold your emotions when it comes to the game, especially because you just cost your team the game, pretty much. And let's not even talk about the error that was made by the shortstop yesterday. Anyways, congrats to the Astros. I'll see you soon because the Yankees will destroy them. Let's go.
Manny, is there something you want to get off your chest, bro? Because I feel there's a little tension in this room right now.
You know what it is?
There's a little tension in this Zoom right now, bro. Is there something you want to get off your chest?
Greg Manfred. That's his name now. Greg Manfred. This guy has been defending the Astros the entire season.
I've been calling it like it is, right? Everybody in baseball cheats. They got caught. This is what it is.
But guys, overall though, what are your thoughts so far in, I would say, the baseball play over the last two days? Are we enjoying it? Or is the baseball stale with this new format? What do we think of the play so far, Greg?
I love it. I think with the opening games, you're not going to get the casual fans in, as somebody likes to say. But when you start to come to the closeout games, you're going to start seeing people like, okay, this is really exciting, because we all know baseball playoffs are actually very exciting because you never know what's actually going to happen.
You're right. And I know, Greg, you've made that argument. You've said that the baseball playoffs are the most exciting of the 4 major sports. I know some of the hit list other contributors will disagree with you on that, but you've been very adamant in saying that narrative.
Absolutely, because like I just said, you never know. Like, could anybody have pictured the Nats winning the World Series in 7 games last year? People picked them, but with the Yankees juggernaut, the Astros, the American League, it was a very, tough sell. But the excitement in October baseball is second to none. I'm sorry, minus the Super Bowl. NFL is king. We know that. I'm strictly talking about the NBA here, Carl.
So it's a shot at the NBA. Go ahead, get it off your chest too. I guess what we're gonna call this right now. Get it off your chest like Power 105 says it. Go ahead.
The MLB playoffs through and through are more exciting than the first 3 rounds of the NBA playoffs.
Hold on, time out. Wasn't there an argument about viewers? Who gets more viewers during the playoffs in the World Series?
Listen, for
and
those
it was what happened?
Listen,
it was the Yankees?
Listen.
It was the world, and not even the Yankees.
Let's go back to that debate.
Listen, which we should have been. And guess what? The viewers, the numbers did not lie.
Let me do some context here. Let's talk about context. Don't make me put my professor hat on. The reason why Mike Miller, he was wrong for trying to believe that the NBA opening day would have more ratings than the World Series. Here's why. The World Series is on broadcast television. As much as you may not want to believe it, there's a lot of people who still don't have cable in their homes. So that's why the World Series, the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup, and the Super Bowl are on broadcast television. NBA opening night was on cable. So therefore, we have a subscription. So the numbers are clearly going to be higher when you have a platform that's free for people to watch, as opposed
to the thing, though, Carl. I tried to tell your man that he didn't want to listen.
No, he didn't. That's on him. I wish I would have spoke to him before he said that. I'm like, bro, you can't compare the two. It's 2 different forms of rating system. If you look at the rating scale, they rate them 2 different ways. So
is this
it's not going to be on the same scale. It's not going to be on the same scale. But again, do we see it, Greg? You didn't give us your predictions. Any bold predictions for this first round that we're still seeing play on right now?
I had Marlins over Cubs. And I had Astros over Twins, even though I think Astros over Twins is that bold, honestly.
All right.
In the next round, I Rays over Yankees.
All right, hold on one second. I just got a comment from Joel Rivera. Shout out to him. He said, "I still don't think Manny is a true Yankee fan after that Mount Rushmore debacle."
Here we go.
Wow.
That's a typical. That's how you know that's a very obnoxious Yankee fan right there. And most people won't like that. Why? Because I said the truth. Is that a problem? Why? Derek Jeter should be the greatest shortstop of all time. Yes, I feel is that a problem? Come on, man.
But listen,
ridiculous. Cut the crap, Joel.
Listen, last week.
Oh my!
Are you done, man? You good? You good, bro? You good, homie? You good?
Baseball season is playoff season. 8 games today. I'm going crazy right now. My anxiety's
your anxiety's high, right? Right? But talk about your Yanks, though, coming out with a strong win yesterday.
Oh, shout out to Brendan Falco for saying that relief pitching is important, more important than starting pitching. Last I checked, Garrett Cole pitched a freaking gem yesterday. Beautiful. The bats were waking up. Giancarlo Stanton, shout out to you for hitting a useless home run when we were already up by 10 runs.
A very A-Rod type of playoff home run.
Thank you, Declan. Thank you. I agree with you on something. But anyways, Falco apologized to the starting pitchers ASAP because this Reds and Braves game that is still going on is in the bottom of the 13th inning right now, and there's 2 starting pitchers for both teams pitched a gem.
I'd also
apologize right now.
Astros' strategy in the postseason is to not actually throw their pen guys. They went with 2 starters yesterday, and they're doing it again today.
Okay. Declan, what are your thoughts overall on the play you've seen so far in the first 2 days of the new format?
It's been exciting so far. We've seen the Yankee team come out with the bats and, to Greg's dismay, I'm sure, obliterate the Cleveland Indians.
Why? This is such a false narrative. I don't hate the Yankee players.
Didn't Shane Bieber win the Triple Crown and get destroyed? Wow, that's crazy.
Shane looked like Justin last night. I got to be honest.
Who do you guys see coming out of this 13-inning game as the winner so far? Like, what is it going to come down to for this game?
I picked the Reds a while ago.
Well, right now it's the bottom of the 13th. Runners on first and third with 1 out. Braves are in danger right now to winning this game.
You said the Braves are up right now?
No, it's zip. No, they got last lick. It's man on first and third with 1 out.
Yeah, so here's another update too, as well. Bottom of the second, bases loaded, 2 outs with the Rays and the Blue Jays too. So I'm sure you guys are busy flipping channels back and forth among which game to watch and what game not to watch, right?
Absolutely. I don't know why.
I'm busy talking to you, Carl.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing in terms of multi. I think this is the first time where actually guys are watching games while analyzing them live on a live. So it's a first for the Hitless.
The World Series.
It's Mike Francesa stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
The playoffs, the postseason.
One thing I would like to say about the Reds Braves game is I was in the chat talking to I forgot who it was. Forgive me, it might have been Eric. And just talking about the lack of situational hitting in baseball. And this game could have ended a long time ago if guys actually, placed the bunt down, got a run into scoring position, hit behind the runner, did little things like that to move the runner along. And you have a runner on third with less than 2 outs. A sac fly can win the game for you or put you up. We're seeing guys look for the long ball, ended up like 3-0. Ronald Acuna hit a pop-up on 3-0 and swinging for the fences, Think small, you go big.
All right, guys. Final thoughts here as we wrap up for the baseball playoffs. Any other predictions? Anything else you guys like to say?
World Series, I actually got the Yankees winning it all. Typical. But I actually see the Padres making it to the World Series.
Okay. Deck, final thoughts here?
I think I'll say a couple things and I'll address Manny's point in a second. In terms of, we saw the Yankees and Indians last night. Going back to Marlins Cubs, I picked the Marlins yesterday. I was the only one out of the three to pick the Marlins, Monday. And so far, I think they're up 5-1 last time I checked. And with the Padres World Series chances, I'm a little concerned because they already have their top two pitchers out going into this series against the Cardinals. Dinelson Lamet's out, and Mike Clevenger is also out. So I think they're going to go with Chris Paddock game one. I think that could be a little shaky for them. The Cardinals have historically always been a scrappy team. I still got the Padres winning this one, but I think they're a year too early. But they can ball.
All right, Greg.
By the way, the Braves won 1-0.
Greg, what are your final thoughts here?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I love this format. I kind of hope it's here to stay. Also, to Declan's point about the Padres, I would love to see the Padres win. I just think the St. Louis team is a little more seasoned, kind of like the Astros Twins series. And I'm calling the Rays-Yankees upset from now.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining me here on the Sports Hit List by the fans for the fans. Greg, I know you got a new segment that you're working on. You want to give the fans a little bit of a tease for it?
Yeah, sure. We're going to be doing extra innings hosted by Greg Polius, where we're going to take some of these conversations that we have on the live and go even more in depth for you guys who are really into baseball and you baseball fans that just love the game. And going to try to have some special guests on as well, and discuss matters way more in depth than we get to do on the live.
All right. Thank you for joining us, guys. Make sure you check us out tonight. We'll have game one of the NBA Finals. We'll have a post-game show of that.
Go Refs.
Late night with
I wore my Kobe jersey. For a reason.
Declan, wrong segment.
Guys, real quick. Finals predictions.
Refs,
predictions. Who you got in how many games?
Lakers in 6.
Well, Deck, I already know where you stand. How many games?
I got Refs 4.5. Unfortunately, I see the Lakers winning in 5.
Deck, how many games?
Heat in 7.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. You guys take care. We'll talk soon. Let me bring in my football prediction. He did say Heat in 7. He did.
Is a Kobe jersey on?
I know. Let me bring in my
high school jersey. It's different.
Let me bring in my football contributors.
I just want to say hi to the football guys. I'm football guy by proxy.
You can say hi to the football guys. Here we go.
What's up, brother? What's up, my man? Come join us every once in a while. Come talk Jets.
There's nothing to talk about. That's why he's going to leave. He's going to leave right now. There's nothing to talk about.
Don't do that to me, Carl. Don't do that.
No, I'm not. Listen, he gave the alley. I just dunked it. I'm sorry.
After his emotional rampage just now, he can't do that.
Well, I had to. I barely even say anything.
Greg,
I had to. I asked for 5 minutes.
Bring back the Carl and his feelings meme. Bring it back. Number one.
No, listen, time out. We're not going to do this. Listen, I'm on my platform, and I needed 5 minutes to get something off my chest, and I can't. Come on, man.
So let that man breathe, man. Let that man breathe.
I'm just saying, bring it back.
I needed 5 minutes to get something off my chest. I had every right. I could take another 5 minutes if I wanted to as well. If I want to keep going. You want me to keep going?
We're not saying you can't. We just saying we think he was a little harsh. I think he was a little harsh.
7 years. 7 years. Come on, man. 7 years. Danny Ainge's been building this team. I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. This is the first, in my opinion, this is the first time Brown and Tatum actually it was their team. This is
Game 7. No. We're not going to do that because Game 7, they were a quarter away from making the finals in 18. Don't do that.
But it wasn't their team. It
wasn't their team. Okay, bro. It's okay, Carl.
No, it's not okay.
It's clearly not okay.
No, it's not okay because he's sitting here trying to tell me about my team. We were one quarter away, one play away from making it to the finals. LeBron doesn't go off. Come on, man. Don't cut that.
The Knicks have made the playoffs one time since 98, 99, and you here complaining about 7 years. Come on.
Of course I am. I have every right. I'm a fan. I have every right.
First world problems, yo.
All right, let's move on.
All right, fellas, enjoy the show.
All right, let's move on. So I was able to break down the numbers from the predictions. I'm sorry about that for going on the basketball rant again, but Travis set me up for that. The predictions awards here, we have Travis against Womack. Travis, you came in, you won week 3. You won with 11 wins, and Womack had 9. So
first of all, shout out to Womack though. He picked my Panthers, even though I didn't. Shout out to him.
Yeah, so he had Travis had 11 wins. Rick had 9, and Paul and Ray had 8. So that was the standings for week 3. And let me do a screen share to tell you what that total comes up.
Oh, I mean, we tied.
Yeah, someone's tied over here. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I can't get it to go. I can't share the screen, but pretty much something's acting up with my screen share. But pretty much it's tied right now. We have a 2-way tie for first place. Travis and Rick are tied at 20 points. And then Ray and Paul are tied in second place at 16 points after 2 weeks of predictions. So what are our thoughts here?
We out here looking like the Eagles and the Bengals, Rick. Come on now.
Come on. Wait. Mr.
You
MVP,
can't have that.
MVP, you picked the Giants to win that game, man. I don't know, homie. I don't know. You had them coming out. A lot of people had them winning that game, and they didn't.
Let me tell you something. First of all, my name is the God of all sports. From here on out,
I know we had a little battle. This guy wanted to get on the NBA segment earlier today, and I'm getting like everyone's upset that they wanted Paul on the first segment. I'm like, bro, there's only so much I can do.
In the NBA Finals, you want your best players on the court. The same here, all right? I don't want to see Mikey Bad Takes, in the words of my man Ray Jarvis, giving us baloney. Coach Mack is a legend, and you know I stand on my brother Ant. We are aligned right now for Lakers winning it all. So let's just gonna throw that out there. Second of all, the same guy who picked the Giants in an upset, you got to, in order to catch these guys, you got to have some gambles. But I'm saying guy who picked the Jags to lose when everybody picked them to win. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. All right, it's only week 3. I
appreciate that.
Okay.
He wasn't the only one that picked the Giants though.
No, he wasn't.
Exactly. I picked the Giants too.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one. But guys, let's look at some of the teams that are still undefeated that are 3-0. We have the Seahawks, we have the Bills, the Titans, the Bears, the Chiefs, the Packers, and the Steelers. Who loses first here in week 4, going into week 4 so far? What do you think?
I know who's gonna lose week 4. Well, the Steelers already lost because they ass ain't playing. COVID knocked the Steelers out of conference.
Right, come on. Can we delay the Jets and the Broncos game? Why we gotta delay it?
I take that.
On the behalf of New York sports, there's reports out there that says a Jets loss will be the end of the Adam Gase era. Therefore, I wish that game was right now at 6:30 p.m. Wednesday, but we got to wait till Sunday for that. But
I don't believe it, but we'll get into that when we talk Thursday night football. I don't believe that.
But that's what they're saying. But to answer Carl's question, I could actually see Nick Foles and the 3-0 Bears being the first team that loses. They host Indy. Indy defensively has looked really, really good. Offensively, they've been a roller coaster. But I think now they have a week to kind of prepare for what they've seen from Nicky Foles. I could see the Bears losing that game and being the first undefeated team to go down.
All right, guys, any thoughts on who loses out of the teams that I named? Rick?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think Chicago should be 3-0 to begin with. So it's a weird situation over there. I get it. You know, you start out 2-0 and Trubisky doesn't look that great, but hey, you're 2-0. To make the switch at that time tells me you didn't want to go with this kid to begin with. If that's the case, you should have just went with Foles to begin with. So, because now you say that's your guy going forward. So what happens if Foles goes out and looks terrible this weekend and they get blown out? Then what? You know, the other guy was 2-0. So it's just weird over there. I don't know what's going on in Chicago, but I don't have any faith in them keeping it going.
The only thing I want to add to that, Maserati Mitch, which he was Mitsubishi Mitch the other day, he might be the first quarterback in NFL history to be the quarterback of a 2-0 football team in the second half to get benched. I've never seen that before in the history of the sport without injury involved. So that just gives you an idea of where Matt Nagy has been in his disdain for my man out there. And it's unfortunate, but hey, I mean, he'll end up in a good situation. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Travis, what are your thoughts on what team will finally lose next week?
I'm thinking the Bills might have a shot here taking an L. I mean, coming off that big win against the Rams, it was an up and down game. Now you got to go to the Raiders, who just took a butt whooping by the Patriots. I might put them on upset alert. Tune in to Sunday to find out.
Okay. I like that.
All right.
It's 100 degrees in Vegas, baby. That ain't.
Any overall thoughts to wrap up week 3? What were our thoughts with the gameplay? Any overall thoughts here? Rick.
I continue to love what I'm seeing from the Seahawks. That team looks like a well-oiled machine. They roll into Miami this weekend, so that should be fun. You can hear the fear in my voice. You see that? Anyways, I love what I see from the Seahawks. They were one of the teams that I've been eyeing from jump, kind of like from the beginning of the season, thinking that they were going to have a special year if they let Russ cook. They are letting Russ cook, and he out there whipping up filet mignon and lobster tails. We started talking about Russ like crazy the past couple weeks. Mahomes in the cut was like, hold on, I'm still here. So he showed us what it was on Monday night. He looked absolutely amazing. I mean, everybody literally caught a touchdown all the way down to the offensive lineman and the fullback. The kid was on fire. Aaron Rodgers is still out here telling folks he ain't going nowhere and ain't nobody here to take his job. So I think those 3 teams continue to really stand out. And I like, by hook or by crook, man, I like seeing the Titans keep on getting those victories, man. I'm a Ryan Tannehill guy. So I like seeing him do good. I like seeing the Titans continue to keep it up.
All right, Rick, any quarterback cooking up a brisket like you were?
Oh, man. Woo. Well, listen, I smell like smoke right now. Look, back and forth before. You see, I logged on early because I was like, I got to make sure I get it right.
This guy, Rick, always cooking something up. Trav, what are your thoughts to wrap up week 3? What do you think here?
Man, Eagles are trash. To tie that game is completely unacceptable.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, my God. That irritated the hell out of me. Bengals,
and it actually hurt our standings too because no one actually predicted it right.
Right, like who predicted tie out here?
Yeah, no one would have predicted that.
And the play calling by Doug Peterson right there. You could just tell he's. I'm not gonna say he's lost faith in him, but he's losing faith in him. So he needs to. But Bengals.
Trav, is the seat hotter for Doug Peterson?
No, you got a Super Bowl. You got a Super Bowl ring and made the playoffs.
Listen,
not yet. Nah,
stay with me. Doc Rivers had a ring. He's no longer.
Listen,
Doug Peterson.
It's warming up.
Doug Peterson has a ring this decade.
Could I just?
Listen, the seat is on. I think it's on preheat.
Rick,
I'm not there yet.
The chef will know. How many degrees.
It's on preheat. It's on preheat. We probably like 150, 175 right now. It's like
I'm not there.
Oven on. We just turned the oven on.
Listen
let me finish up here, man.
Wait. I want to answer you. Listen to me.
Go ahead.
They travel to Levi Stadium. If Doug Peterson goes 0-3-1, losing to Nick Mullins, or worse, the return of Jimmy G, I promise you will be singing a different tune next Monday.
Listen.
I still don't think I will.
Listen, God of all sports, this is the 3rd or 4th week you've said this, and every week we come back and say the same thing, brother. Just keep in mind, we do have the tape. All right, so every week we talk about Doug Peterson, even whether it's on the Sunday show, whether it's on this show, every week is something about Doug Peterson.
Hey, Carl, you're a college professor, so. At one point, you in literature, you had to understand and study what foreshadowing meant. There were context clues given prior to the thing actually taking place.
My man used literature. He said foreshadowing. Is that foreshadowing?
Oh my God.
He's bound to be right, yo. He's bound to be right.
Hold on, Carl. Let me finish up here, Carl.
Go ahead, Trav. Trav, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Trav.
Bengals, man. Please do not ruin Joey B, man. 14 sacks. He's leading the league and getting sacked. He's out there getting pounded. Please do not ruin this kid, man. You got the hometown kid. Y'all got a block for that, man. Do something. Trevor Lawrence, I think it's time for him to start looking for real estate in New York and New Jersey because this is getting ugly out here with the both New York teams. So, Trevor Lawrence, you might want to start get a real estate agent in New York and New Jersey. I gave coaches shout-outs, for picking my Panthers. Shout out to the Bills. I like that win right there. I mean, they had an early lead up 28-3, let the Rams come back, but they ended up finishing that game, man. So, shout out to them. And that's about it. I guess whenever y'all ready to go, move on to game balls.
All right. God of all sports, is there anything you want to add about week 3? I mean, you pretty much touched upon a little bit of everything. Anything that you wanted to talk about with week 3 to wrap up week 2 as we move on to the next one?
Honestly, I think what week 3 did is exactly what we normally see from the NFL, which is why it's still the best product on national television.
Talk about it.
Debatable. Debatable because everyone's tuning in tonight.
Talk about it.
Everyone's going to be watching tonight. But
it's
okay.
not even close.
Because the NFL game ain't on.
Right, exactly. After week 2, you now have 96 minutes of game tape on both sides of the football in addition to special teams. So what did we see in week 3? We seen a Chiefs team go out there and completely dominate a Ravens offense that's supposed to be high-powered. And on the flip side, shred them to pieces. This is supposed to be the Super Bowl-bound Ravens, right? We seen the Detroit Lions, who still, Matt Patricia is that head coach. He is defensive-minded. Make Kyler Murray look like he did his rookie year, right? He went from being in the MVP early race with Russ and Allen to a marginal 3-interception game and a loss at home. The NFL always delivers the best product. Doesn't matter who's out there, and that's why I appreciate the sport.
Well, and leading.
Hold on. Before we move on to game ball, can we have the Lamar Jackson conversation? I get ours?
Well, according to your outline, sir, Mr. Producer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
According to your outline, that wasn't on your outline.
He brought the game.
Because you're going to go forever.
I just wanted to see if we could have that conversation. Because, I took a lot of slack for my comments 2 weeks ago. So I just want to know, can we have the conversation?
Right, but according to your game notes or show notes, I would like to say, you wanted to talk about the COVID and how a team got shut down.
Yeah, okay.
Now, if we're talking about teams, no NBA team got shut down in the bubble, but an NFL team who puts the best product on the table got shut down. Travis, talk about it. What's going on there?
There's no bubble. Come on, man. There's no bubble.
We're not in a bubble, man. We all knew this was gonna come. There was no. I mean, who really sat here and thought that the NFL was gonna go all the way to February and not have a COVID case affect the team? We all knew it was gonna happen. It's about how gotta give the NFL some form of credit because they're usually a reactionary organization, but they had some procedures in place, so they had the steps in place. So now they're taking the precautions. Did we get a definitive answer or when they postponing that game until? Like I've heard maybe Tuesday, maybe Monday, but I don't think I've heard what the definitive answer.
I haven't seen anything. Have you guys heard anything yet?
No, I haven't.
So it will probably be Tuesday, which is why I'm not sure that we need to discuss it until maybe Sunday when we'll have definitive answers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing I will say. One thing else I will say to add on to that, since Carl tried to take a shot, I mean, if you build in a bubble situation, the whole point is to make sure it never happens. So props to the NBA for getting it right. Even props to the MLS for doing it before the NBA. But if you don't have a bubble,
you don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. If you don't have a bubble, the key is to making sure you jump on it immediately, you contain it, and you figure out how far it may have spread, and you do your very best to control it and stop it from getting worse. So as long as they're able to do that, we'll be fine.
All right. God of all sports, game balls for offense, defense for week 3. Who you got?
So offensively, I'm going to go with Nick Foles, right? We've always crowned him to ride off the bench, 6 man. He's the Lou Will of the NFL with a Super Bowl ring. But, to come out there, go 16 to 29, 188, 3 scores. I think at one point it completed 11 straight passes. Come back from 20 points unanswered in the fourth quarter. I mean, how could you not go with Nick Foles? And that has earned him a starting job. Defensively, I'm going to go with the rookie down in Detroit, the number 3 draft pick, Jeff Okudah. Got torched early in the first half with arguably the toughest assignment you could have in the NFL, which is DeAndre Hopkins, right? With Kyler Murray in your first NFL action. But boy, did he recover, right? Nuke was shut down in the fourth quarter. I think he had 1 catch on 5 attempts. He also had an interception, and he had 2 pass deflections all in the fourth quarter to sustain that comeback. So I'm going with the rookie in Detroit.
Right, and you know what's crazy? As you say that, I look at last week's predictions. No one had the Lions winning that game. Everyone thought it was a sheer wash for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So that's a big win for them.
Why would we think the Lions would show up and win a game?
But they did.
No, that was great defensive game planning and execution, man. Awesome defensive job by the Lions.
Rick, so who are you giving your game balls to for offense and defense for week 3?
Just so I'm not redundant, man, I can't give it to Russ every week. So I got to go with Kamara, man. Like the 58 rushing yards is one thing, but to come out there and step up in the place of, not having Michael Thomas out there. And we saw how much Drew really needed somebody last week. So to be able to see Kamara go out there and just eat up these receptions, 13 receptions, 139 yards, Kamara was out there all over the field. Like he looked worth every single dollar that they gave him. On the defensive side, I'm gonna go with Shaq Thompson, man. All over the field so far this season. In all 3 games, he's been really active on the defensive end. 13 tackles, a few assists on the back end too. He had a fumble force and recovery. Defended 2 passes. Like he's looking really, really good in that defense for Carolina. So those are my guys.
All right. Box office, who are your guys for offense and defense? By the way, before you start, Anthony said you should give your offensive ball to Cam Newton.
Not this week. But before we start, I got a little bit of issue with Rick right there, man. How we giving game balls to losers right there, Paul?
Yo, you're right. Listen.
Hold on, Paul. When you played, did they give out game balls if you lost? Never.
Nah, look. Here's the thing. Here's the reason why. And generally,
get in around here.
You're right. Generally, I wouldn't, but I mean, Kamara is a guy who held out, and there was a lot of talk about, him crying for money and this and that. And I do think we're not giving that dude enough credit. The running back position in the NFL continues to kind of dwindle, and there's those handful of guys that kind of rise to the top, and all we seem to always hear about is Elliott, C-Mac, and Saquon. That's all we ever hear about, and people seem to never really talk about Kamara. That dude is a beast, man, on both aspects of the offense, and he got to get his respect. So he gets my grade.
All right. I'm gonna give mine the obvious answers, man, for the offense. Patty Mahomes, man, he went out there 31 for 42, 73% completion, man, 385 yards, 4 TDs, and made it look easy. Like he went up there against the best defense in the league and torched them, man. And then he out there. They were ranked top. I'm sorry, one of the best defensive ranked in the league.
He couldn't even finish that.
He gave out. Shout out to my favorite list, top 100, because he went out there and gave them a jab for not putting them at number 1. And then defensively, I'm gonna give it to Shaq Barrett down in Tampa Bay, man. 6 tackles, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss, and a great win out there, man. That defense in Tampa Bay is looking strong.
All right, so
great defensive effort. Excuse me.
We're already into week 4, so let's start with our predictions. We have the Broncos versus the Jets on Thursday night matchup. Someone's going to become victorious here. Someone's going to actually.
Are we sure about that?
That ain't even guaranteed no more.
We can't even guarantee that, right?
We don't know that.
So, God of all sports, what's your prediction for this Thursday night matchup heading into week 4? You can't. Is your mic on? Can you hear me? Or can
nobody want to pick this game?
I almost wish that I lost connection. Right?
Can you hear me? Do I need to repeat my question?
Nobody wants to pick this game.
I'm gonna go with the Denver Broncos. Only because I think it is time for a new era. So if these reports are true, the Jets do deserve better. They deserve a better leader. So I'm going with the Broncos.
All right, Rick.
So here's the thing. Here's my thing with this game, man. So the whoever let this story out from within the Jets organization should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. This is absolutely disgusting because this is putting the onus on the players to do the organization's dirty work. Adam Gase should have been fired from the Jets. Adam Gase should have never probably been hired by the Jets. And he's been trash ever since he's got there. He's been trash since this season started. He's looked worse and worse each week. And instead of the organization manning up and saying, this guy's got to go, they're pretty much putting it on the players because you say, okay, well, if he loses this game, then he's going to get fired. So players obviously want to go out and win. Playing against Denver, which, you know, isn't world beaters, this is a winnable game for even a terrible New York Jets team. But if you're a player and you know you don't like coach and you want coach up out of there and you're hearing that the organization is going to fire him if you lose, so now as a player you got to sit there and say, hey, let's go out and lose this game just so we can get this dude out of here. What happens if he wins? If he wins, is it next week? If he loses, then he's out of here. Like, the Jets organization, like, legit, y'all should be ashamed of yourself. That's absolutely disgusting what they're doing
tomorrow.
For real. If that's the case, if that's really what it is, you should have fired him. Don't put it on your locker room to go ahead and do your dirty work. With that said, I absolutely believe that team going to go out there and lay down and get this man up out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Denver, man. Get Jace out of there, man.
Travis, so you're going to make this a clean sweep.
Listen, hold on. Let me add on to this because I agree that Adam Gase is an absolutely terrible coach. But let me tell y'all why, win or loss, his key card will work Monday morning. Let me tell y'all why. Because he has the backing of Peyton Manning, okay?
Ugh.
Peyton, y'all don't understand how far the word of a Manning goes in this league. There's a reason why they are the first family of football. Peyton Manning is the only person that vouches for this man. He's the reason why he got the job in Miami. He's the reason he got the job in the Jets. I'm telling you. So he will
That's absolutely true. You're right.
They want to replace this man.
So therefore, that will, I'm telling you, he is walking through that door, win or loss tomorrow. But in terms of the game, I'm gonna pick the Jets. I mean, it's too bad. It's two bad teams. But one is on their two bad coaches. But one is on their third quarterback. I can't pick that on the road on a short week. I just can't pick that. I can't.
All right. And God of all sports, I owed you one for the NBA debacle, and you wanted the floor to say something important, and you wouldn't want to tell us. So the floor is yours.
I think for the interest of activity, it was best that I didn't share what this topic was going to be. But here we are. Today is September 30th, 2020. And I just want to be very, very clear and transparent with my brothers here on this network and all the fans worldwide. Protest, like many things that are happening in our country, just seem to vanish, right? So whether it was George Floyd, the Ahmaud Arbery situation, even Breonna Taylor, and any other fallen folks out there, when you think about the impact that has happened on protests, it's been very similar to, a casual fitness or diet journey for someone who hasn't been fully committed, right? And why do I say this? So on June 5th, the NFL apologized to players in a statement for not listening to players years ago. June 16th, Roger Goodell specifically on a podcast with an actual current player apologized to Colin Kaepernick indirectly, because of course he didn't pick up the phone and call him, and says he'd welcome the idea of him coming back to the league. So what does that tell me? tells me that whatever severance agreement or separation agreement or NDA he signed did not restrict him from playing football. However, they always said in the NFL that winning mattered, right? So we just talked about the Denver Broncos. So how does a team go out there and doesn't pick up the phone for Colin Kaepernick? We watched the Denver Broncos lose their starting quarterback, who will be lost for at least 6 weeks, minimum, maybe longer, with a joint injury. We didn't see them go out there and put a backup in who probably also in Jeff Driscoll does not belong in the National Football League. But somehow there is a guy named Brett Ripien who is going to start on primetime television for Thursday Night Football. So I ask you guys this, right? Knowing what you know about the legend of this sport, is a game about winning, or is it about controlling a narrative and continuing to blackball the individual that was once named Colin Kaepernick? John Elway, legendary football player, very marginal in my opinion, but he is a Hall of Famer, right? Perennial loser, but he did win 2 champs at the end of his career. Has been an avid Donald Trump supporter. You may recall back in 2016 how much energy, time, and effort he put on the big screen supporting Donald Trump in Republican Nation. Do you think that protecting that integrity of Donald Trump and the power of that individual is why Colin Kaepernick wouldn't even be thought of for Denver? Because only God could tell you it would be a perfect situation for a guy of that talent structure, that magnitude, and given what we just seen at his last NFL workout, which I will add, that only the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Redskins, the Jets, the Titans, the Niners, and the Lions showed up to in that park when he filmed that live. This isn't about winning. This is about controlling your own narratives and your own agenda. And it's unfortunate that someone as powerful as John Elway, who handed the ball off to an African-American in Terrell Davis, who threw the passes to an African-American in Shannon Sharp, who threw deep balls to Rod Smith, who was protected by 2 guards that were African-Americans, has seemingly just jumped on board with the black ball and continued such a poor narrative. Most of you, like me, have never heard of Brett Ripien. Now, I'm a huge college guy, so I know where he played college football. But can you sit here and honestly say that you feel confident as a Bronco fan, if you are, so Andrew, if you're out there, that Brett Ripien should be the guy this early in the season? How do you turn your back on all of the preseason work and everything this early in the year instead of giving someone that we know is proven? I will throw out a few statistics. Kaepernick pre-San Francisco overhaul was 25-14. 7 game-winning drives, 7 comebacks, 4-2 in the playoffs for the Super Bowl appearance, and should have won that game. Michael Crabtree didn't come up. That is who is not given an opportunity. So we can sit here and pretend that the NFL cares by putting some names on the back of a helmet, that we get some commercial ads about, Black Lives Matter, John Madden. We can do all these different songs, loops, and dances. But the reality is, like we seen in the presidential debate last night, and I promise not to make this political, it is never going to change, and that is unfortunate.
Oh, I think that wraps the show. If anyone wants to add anything, I think that was well said. Excellent words by Paul. Guys, anyone any thoughts to that, or do we leave him off when leaving the sunset?
No, that's it, man. Drop the mic, yeah.
Drop the mic. That's it, Paul.
I do have a separate one thing to say before we.
The one thing I'll state, but before you go, I will say I don't know if that put Paul again in the running for another back-to-back MVP. Gotta throw that out there, homie. I gotta throw that out there.
Late campaign push.
Yes, late push. We got 3 more. We got a couple more months till we do our voting in December, brother. Okay. I had to throw it out there. That was excellent.
You know what my mind has been in regards to a back-to-back. I don't think they should exist in a platform of such. But from respect to respect, peer-to-peer, Ray Jarvis has run away with that by miles, man. It ain't even close, in my opinion.
Trav, you wanted to add to what Paul said?
No, I didn't want to add. I just had a separate topic real fast, yo. Shout out to my granny today, 80th birthday.
All right, props, yo.
Hey.
We just got her tablet set up FaceTime, so therefore hope we get her tuned in on Sunday. You know what I mean?
What's
her a little shout out.
Granny's favorite team? What's Granny's favorite team?
She a Cowboys fan. She the only one I respect,
man.
Hey,
but look, that means she done seen them win.
Right.
Absolutely.
She'll keep it real with you. She'll be like, they are terrible. I can't stand them damn Cowboys. She will keep it real, but she ride or die with them. I'll give her that.
Hey.
Listen, God bless the granny, man. 80 is a blessing. We love the grandmothers. The grandmothers are hearts to everything. Families.
That's
everything.
what's up.
So God bless your grandmother, man. 80 is a beautiful age, and keep pushing, man. Keep that pushing. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here on the Sports Hit List by the fans and for the fans.
Whoa. We don't pick on the Lakers game? What's up?
Okay, all right. Listen. I know how Travis feels about talking about the NBA, but since you mentioned it, we could transition to the NBA, to the trophy. Okay, go ahead. Well, I know where Rick stands. Rick's probably going to say Lakers in 2. I know he's going to say something like that, but
I ain't going to say nothing crazy like that.
Travis, who you got in this series, though? Who you got in this match?
Man, I'm here. This is one I'm here for the narratives and the drama. I want Pat Riley to go out there and get his revenge, but I got to go Lakers in 5, man.
What the fuck kind of revenge?
I said I want him to. I want him to.
Lakers in 5 is like a Lakers sweep.
God of all sports. God of all sports. You got the Lakers in the sweep?
Nah, I'm not going to say sweep. Here's what I will say. The Lakers will win this series. And I will tell you this, which is what I would have said at the 4 o'clock hour. Had I got
That's a shot at me. I know. He's not going to let it go. He's not. I know he's not.
Better late than never.
This will be the most passionate and the most, I would probably say, committed LeBron James in an NBA Finals you have ever seen. And I'm not referring to him offensively or defensively. I'm talking about complete 360 value, right? From the leadership perspective, the stopping the bleeding, because we know that the Heat are going to have their runs. And the difference between the maturation process of LeBron James, in my opinion, he's not going out there to score 40 points. I heard Matt talking about him wanting to win Finals MVP. I honestly, truly feel LeBron James is smart. He's one of the smartest basketball players, if not the smartest of all time. He is smart enough to know that they do not win if Anthony Davis does not perform at an extremely high level. They win when Anthony Davis is the best player on the basketball court. And he will make sure he does every single thing possible for AD to be that guy. And he will count on, like he always has in the clutch, the guys like Green and everybody else to make them wide open shots. They're going to be wide open against these guys. Wide open. So for that reason, I'm going Lakers. And I say to get them out of there in 5 games.
Gentlemen sweep. Rick, the resident Laker fan, the New York native, Florida resident, but Laker fan, Rick.
Yeah. Hey, look, man.
Like that.
I have to. I'm calling the facts. Those are the facts. He's from New York. He lives in Florida, and he's a Laker fan. Those are the facts.
You a Celtics fan.
So listen, hey, look.
I live in PA, and I'm a Panthers fan. So what?
Don't know where you live, Travis.
So listen, in an effort to make sure that folks don't pick up this narrative called trying to drop like I'm some kind of front runner. Yes, I am a New York native. Growing up in New York, I became a Dolphin fan. I just loved everything about Marino and the Dolphins at an early age when I started watching football. Same thing with basketball. So in basketball, I actually became an Orlando fan just as they became an expansion franchise and whatnot, and was a huge Shaq fan, Shaq and Penny, of course. I became a Laker fan by following Shaq to the Lakers because even at a young age, I understood that Orlando was absolutely ridiculous for making sure that man did not stay in town. And I followed Shaq to LA, been a Laker fan ever since. Kobe came along. He took over Shaq. I've stuck with LA. That's how that happened. So, don't let Carl try to make y'all think I'm some kind of bandwagon jumper or nothing, But
I had to do
as far as the series go, man, look, I'm a humble fan. I don't bet on my teams. I don't pick when it comes to my teams. I just watch it unfold and hope that I see purple and gold confetti. So that's it.
So you're really not going to make a prediction? You can't really.
Listen.
He didn't make a prediction.
Nah, that's just to let y'all know, man. I don't do it, man. It's tough enough picking the Dolphins games every week. You know what I mean?
Listen,
I like to go in and
at
have.
the end of the day, I don't like y'all. I don't want to see it. I hope
you'll be all right.
I want to see it.
Don't worry. I'll say some confetti.
This one, I can't make a prediction because I hate the Lakers with a passion, and Miami just eliminated me out the playoffs.
But Carl, you're the storyline when the Lakers do win in 5. Do you have any idea of the quality of a story that you're going to have the entire NBA offseason when they can then start running around saying how, well, LeBron was won in 3 different places?
Mm-hmm. I know. Tell me about it. And they tied the Celtics for championship at 17. I could hear it, but and then you're going to have the detractors like, I'm not going to mention any names who say that the whole thing was rigged and that the Clippers point shaved for the
here we go.
Bubble.
Here we go.
All these different stories.
Here we go.
Who said that? Throw a name out. I need to know.
Just wave a flag. It's a flag that's blue and white.
We ain't even tip off yet. And they got the conspiracy theories, man.
They had them. They had them. Israel set it on the hit list as soon as the Lakers won last week, and it was been going on nonstop about this is what they wanted since Kobe passed away and Silver.
Yeah, 2020, the year of the Lord and Savior, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, so I'm not buying into it. I'm not saying that again. As I said, it's a tough one because the Miami just defeated my team. I can't root for them. I hate the Lakers with a passion. So I just want to watch good basketball.
No, Carl,
listen.
No, we're not letting you get off that easy. Make a pick, sir.
I'm not making a pick. Sir, I'm not making
a pick.
Yo, listen. One thing I will say though.
F the Flakers. I don't care. F the Flakers.
Oh, you a hater, bro.
I'm a hater. Damn right I am. I don't care about them. Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't care about them. Who cares?
You go in Miami.
So listen. Here's one thing I will say. One way or the other. The one thing I don't want to hear, because this is perfectly set up so that one way or the other we can have that asterisk talk. I don't want to hear nothing about this.
No, I will say that though.
No matter who wins, because they could have the argument for either side. If it's the Lakers, they're gonna line up to say it's only because of the bubble. If it's the Heat, same thing. They would have never made it there in a regular format.
I will say this though, objectively speaking,
I don't want that asterisk talk.
No, for real though. With every sport, before they started, we said this as a hitless congregation, and I'm tested. We said no asterisk, whether it's on the NFL Super Bowl because there are no fans, whether it's baseball World Series, no fans, whether it's NBA, no fans. There's no asterisk. The winner is the winner. We said the same thing for the Stanley Cup. I don't want to hear that. It's not true.
Because you know what? And here's the even better part. And I hope we could leave the show on this nugget right here. Here's the better part. When it comes down to it, what is the biggest game of the year every single year? It's the Super Bowl. Is that ever played at a home field advantage? Absolutely not. Neutral site is when you truly see who is the better team. Shout out to the NFL.
Oh, you had to get into NFL.
I'm here.
And shout out to you for keeping the best for last. even on the day the finals begin, you say the best for last.
According to Travis, he said the JV teams. He said the JV teams go first, right? And then you got the varsity to go on after.
JV never.
That changes week to week.
It changes week to week because next week
never goes before the JV.
But next week you guys could be on. It all depends on what's trending, what goes first. You guys could be on first next week. It all depends what goes on. We don't know.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. It's all
JV season gonna be over. That's why. Once JV season over, it's time for varsity to keep playing.
Oh man, gentlemen, thank you guys for watching the Sports Hit List by the fans for the fans. Special shout out to Joel Rivera. He's always been a big supporter of the Sports Hit List. Tonight we will go live following Game 1. I know it will be a late time on the East Coast, maybe a midnight. But for people out in the West Coast, it's Pacific time. It'll be 9 o'clock. So please stay tuned if you guys want to join us to just chat up about Game 1 and see how the first game plays out. Sundays, we'll be back again for NFL kickoff at 12:30. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Gentlemen, I look forward to your picks. We have a tie right now between Travis and Rick. Paul, I hope you bring your game, man. I hope you have a slow start, and we'll see you coming up. And I know Ray will be ready to make his picks as well. I thank you guys for all your support and continued contributions to the hit list. I love you guys. Happy birthday, Grandma. Make sure you celebrate. Yeah. Make sure you have one for us. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Happy birthday, Grandma.
All right, guys. Enjoy the game.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Later.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.